Bonjour, Kinamagin and Ireland Indishnikas, and welcome to this production of the My Math Network. Today's episode, Chapter 11, Lesson 13, Convert Metric Units of Capacity. We'll begin today by looking at our previous session's work. And going between milligrams and grams, we divide by 1,000. So we get 7 grams. Kilograms and grams, we multiply by 1,000. We're going from a bigger unit to a more specific unit. It's usually multiplication. Going from a smaller unit or more specific to a more general, it's usually multiplication. You can see that grams to kilograms divide by 1,000. Down here is where you get an interesting one, milligrams to kilograms. First you divide by 1,000 to go to grams, and then divide by another 1,000 to get to kilograms. Or you could just simply divide by 1,000,000. 6 zeros, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you end up right here, 1.35, and you just truncate all the other zeros. So vocabulary, metric system does not include the ounce, that's customary. And going from larger to smaller is multiplication. Looking at today's work, we're going from liters to milliliters. So a pretty standard operation today, multiplying and dividing by 1,000. And we'll talk about that in the lesson as well. We do have some problem solving, some vocabulary, and a test practice question. So let's look at our essential question here in chapter 13, or chapter 11, lesson 13. How can I use measurement conversions to solve real-world problems? Investigating the math, what do you notice when converting within the metric system? Well, the first thing I notice is that I'm multiplying and dividing by powers of 10, whether it be 10 when I'm going from centimeters to meters, centimeters to millimeters, or 100 when going centimeters to meters, or 1,000 when going from grams to kilograms. Everything is a 1 and a bunch of zeros. Complete the table by writing the operation and a number used to convert. And I'm going to save my penmanship. Liters to milliliters. Liters are bigger and milliliters are more specific. So I multiply and it's 1,000. And milliliter to liter is the opposite. So I divide by 1,000. So now if I have capacity 50 liters into milliliters, I times it by 1,000. 50 times 1,000 is 50,000. And going smaller unit to the bigger one, I divide by 1,000. So 1, 2, 3, I have 6.5 liters. Rita pours 15.4 liters of water into a bucket. Jasmine pours 12,600 milliliters of water into another. How many more milliliters of water in Rita's bucket than in Jasmine's? So I can start by converting this into milliliters. So I divide by 1,000. So 1, 2, 3. So 15,400 minus 12,600 is 2,800 milliliters. Just 2.8 liters. All right, let's start in the book. And this is page 877. The idea is that you will fill this in as we go. This gives you the opportunity to create an artifact that you can use when answering questions. If at some point we're filling things in and I use the phrase, I'm going to move forward or I'm going to clear the screen, that usually gives you a second or two notice that you should pause the video. And if we ever get too far ahead, you can always pause the video and rewind it as necessary because, hey, you're working from home. So example basic on 877, there are some, there's a key concept page I'm sure we'll get to on this chart, but liter to milliliter is a conversion rate of 1,000. Milliliter might be the amount of liquid in an eyedropper, and a liter, well, is a medium-sized sports drink. So a dripping faucet wastes about 90 liters of water every week. Yikes. How many milliliters of water is this? Well, I can go 90 times 1,000. And you can see that's 9 times 1, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So 90,000 milliliters. So go ahead and write that in before you go to the top of the next page. Moving forward here, you see our key concept. Again, a liter is 1,000 milliliters, and 1,000 milliliters is a liter. So we have example niche. We're on the top of 878. Container of orange juice holds 580 milliliters. How many liters is this? So a liter is, I'm just gonna bring it up for you, is 1,000 milliliters. So I divide 580 by 1,000. 580 divided by 1,000 is 0.58. So I started here with my decimal point, right here, 1, 2, and 3. So that's before the 5. So 580 milliliters is 0.58. So the container holds 0.58 liters of orange juice. And it's just keep in mind a liter is 1,000 milliliters. So you know that if it's less than that, you're going to have a decimal point because it's going to be less than 1. So go ahead and write that in. All right, moving forward. Let's give you some practice. Go ahead and do numbers 1 and 2. I ask you to pause the video before moving forward or while doing the thing, and then unpause it when you're ready. So go ahead and pause the video now. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. We know that there's 1,000 milliliters in a liter, so we multiply by 1,000, we get 6,000 milliliters. And over here, it'll be 4,000. 4 times 1,000. Let's move forward here to 3 and 4. Go ahead, pause your video and unpause it when you're ready. Let me pause video now. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. We divided this time. So we divide by 1,000, takes out 3 zeros, and we get 7 liters. Over here, dividing by 1,000, move the decimal point 3 places, 1, 2, and I next is 0, so 0.042. Which unit would you use to measure the capacity of a glass of milk, milliliter or liter? I'm probably going to go with liter and a fraction. I mean, you could make an argument for milliliters, but really who measures that small of a thing? Let's see what the book told us. It didn't tell us. All right, we're going to do just a few more practice. Go ahead and do numbers 5 through 8. Pause the video and unpause it when you're ready. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. Liters to milliliters is times 1,000, so 70 times 1,000 is 70,000. Milliliters to liters is divide by 1,000, so 1, 2, and then next is 0, 0.1. Just truncate that extra 0. Liters to milliliters, again, by 1,000, so 1, 2, and 3. We add the 2 zeros. And divide by 1,000, 1, 2, and 3, 3.5. But bounce forward just a wee bit to these ones. Go ahead and do 13, 14, and 15. You may pause the video now. Welcome back. 2 liters is 2,000 milliliters, so 2,000 milliliters is greater than 1,000 milliliters. This 3.39 liters is 390 milliliters. They're equal. And 82 liters is 82,000 milliliters, which is a lot bigger than 825 milliliters. At this point, you're going to go into the assignment. And you saw this a little bit earlier. Remember your vocabulary words. If you're in person, you're going to turn this into the bin. If you're at home, you're going to complete the Google form. If you have any questions, please reach out to me at mireland@sagchipschool.net. Always have a minute, Minwa, Bama P.